Hello all to Avalanche's Final Fantasy VII playthrough. The playthrough is now in its fourth segment, the Corel Area part, consisting of 3 portions. In this, the second portion, we make our way towards Corel, Barret's hometown, and look at why, what has got on and why is he so hated. There aren't any prevalent boss battles coming up, but we'll get a chance to explore the main section of the world map, allowing you to relax from questing, known as the Golden Saucer.
So as we get back to this position here, we just come down the side here, and that will take us to where Tifa, Aerith and Red were cheering us on. The bridge is now closed, so we can go all the way down, just remembering to look out for that extra path off. As we come down here, you take the secondary path here, and you go forward. Now you're not going to be able to see where you're going, but you just keep going forwards, and eventually you'll come into a new area where you're able to get a tent and then some other items, some sources. So we've got a mine source here and a power source here. Speak to the chap, nothing happens, he just sort of says, how do you come here? And the place just says it's Mountain Coral still. So we're still on the Mountain Coral, we've almost crossed the mountain now to get to it. It's just worth noting as well, when we're here, the stage I'm at now, I have just over 50 magic points with 2 of my characters and 100 with the other. It's worth keeping a few magic points remaining on your healer still, because what's going to happen now is we've got one more scene to pass through, which is a big massive bridge, and on here we fight grenades. Now grenades have been fought on every Final Fantasy, everyone knows what they do. They're a big red creature. Here's our first one now. Something's called bombs or grenades. You attack them, and after a certain amount of time they get bigger and bigger until they blow up. Now the reason this is really important, we've just got ourselves a fire veil there, which is a really strong item. So we're able to sort of kill them off quickly now. So I'll cast Ice 2 on this chap, and Ice 2 again, and so yeah, that'll kill him. Now the reason why it's important to fight these guys is because occasionally they carry an item called a right arm, which is basically a very strong attacking item. Unfortunately I didn't get lucky there and he's killed himself. If they kill themselves, as you know, you don't get any experience or any AP, so I should have killed them quicker. But yeah, occasionally they carry an item called a right arm. I'm just going to quickly show you the items I've been picking up. The Fire Veil uses Fire 3 on all opponents, whereas the Bolt Plume has been picking up only uses Bolt 2. So this casts a spell we can't even cast yet. So if we ever get into a sticky situation, this Fire Veil will do a really strong attack, and it hits all the enemies as well, so it's like a really useful thing to have, as well as all the other items we've been picking up. So once we get to the end of this bridge, we're into the town of Corel, and that's our target. So I'm just going to try and see if we can get into one more battle with a grenade first, before I continue. And hopefully this time see if we can get ourselves a right arm. Once we do get a right arm this time, I'll make sure I use the limit break and then Shiva. Hopefully the fact this is taking longer means he's carrying a right arm. They are a bit harder to steal. And you can't buy them from shops either, so they're really useful items. They just get thrown, they do a lot of damage, so when you're in boss battles, or a battle where you need to kill someone quickly, they're brilliant items. There we go. So I'm now going to do Grease Lightning, and then I'm going to cast Shiva with Cloud, which will hopefully kill it. Right on now that we can keep back, for a rainy day if you like. I mean, our MPs are quite low now, but we're going to be getting to the end of this bridge. If we get to another battle, Barret can cast, some or Ice 2. So hopefully this will kill it. Yeah, there we go. So, Shiva, like I said, the strongest ice spell we've got at the moment. Cloud's now got 0 magic points. You get not brilliant experience, you get 22 AP, which isn't bad, and then we work our way into Corel. And as soon as you walk in, they say he's back. I mean, this does look like a bit of a dump, doesn't it? And Barret's telling us to wait here. just gets a big punch around the face and doesn't even react. And you know how aggressive Barret gets, so why isn't he reacting? Walking death sentence like Barret. You've got a lot of nerve coming back here. It's all your fault North Corel turned into a garbage heap. So Barret is half responsible for this town looking like this. Talking to the techno freak. It's interesting why they're calling him a techno freak, because he's not that technologically minded. It's Barret's fault this town was all destroyed. So the town's, you know, you can have a quick look around the town. He used to be a coal train engineer. Most of these sort of houses are like little tents. You can go around there, there's a few items and whatnot you can have a quick buy at. And there's a few people you can have a quick talk to. There was something glowing in the well over there. If he can get his hands on it, he's going to sell it. So there's a few shops around here. And there's the golden saucer over there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fade out for now. So now we're in the Corel. So this is the town of Corel, but we're also in the gold saucer area. There's a few optional things we can do now, but the main thing I would recommend for people to do is a little bit more grinding. At the moment, I'd say probably about a level or two below what we should be. I recommend that people be at least, you know, the very least 20s by the time we go into this area. Now, because there is an option to do some more grinding when we get to the next stage, I'm going to wait till we do them, because we're not going to have a boss for a while. So, just a quick note that because we've now found the transform material, we've got access to some new items that can cure Frog and Mini. Just buy yourself a few of those just in case. Just protect yourself. But then when you're ready to continue, all you need to do is check two things. Number one, you've got over 3,000 gil. And then all you need to do is come over here and make sure that you're ready for a bit of fun, really. A bit of a sort of a look around. There's not really battles for a while. So obviously, from the last episode, we know that Corel was destroyed and Barret was a part of it. And he's going to sort of, you know, dip into his past like Cloud does a little bit. And his whole town got buried in 4 years. Quick bit of drink. So Corel, you know, coal mining town named after it. And you can see those two people there in the sort of foreground are Shinra soldiers guarding a house where everyone was walking into. And the first time you ever heard the phrase "make a reactor." The only one opposed to this is Dime. You'll notice that's Scarlet from the Shinra Corporation, and she's trying to devious ways to try and convince people. Shinra Incorporated will guarantee your livelihood once the Maker reactor is completed. So what they want is they want to use your coal to help build the reactor. Okay. This does sound a bit dubious. And you'll see Barret there talking with Dine, who's obviously an acquaintance of his. And that's how the Corel reactor was built. We obviously passed the Corel reactor on the way to Corel. But oh dear. As always with the Shinra, everything has a sticky ending. Dine and Barret were out of town for a few days and Corel was burnt to the ground. And everyone inside it was burnt as well. The whole village. You can see it's a mining town. They've called the pub the Mine Pub. They said that a rebel faction caused the explosion and the rebel faction was from Corel. So now you're starting to realise why Barret's anger, you know, his whole town was burnt to the ground and his wife was killed in it. So now I've got the chance to ride on the rope where you can either go on or not go on. To continue the story, we go on. If you click don't go on, you can just browse around the town, do some more fighting. And Dine and Barret were so close. Now he's not yet talked about everything because some sort of eagle-eye viewers will note that Barret had two hands in in that image where he's only got one hand here, obviously with a gun arm on the other side. So we're hoping that we might sort of get Barret to talk a little bit more. You know, when you're around the people that mean a lot to you, well, all the memories that mean a lot to you, such as this, you know, you hope that people then get in a talkative mood. A little Easter egg there that a lot of Final Fantasy sites point out is that the rotors get reversed when you go on the roadway for the first time. They're at the back there, whereas we're on the front at the other time. But essentially, we've got a floating palace here of, you know, amusements, arcades, and fun things to do. So, you know, this episode will basically be about some of the fun things you can do in Final Fantasy, some of the mini games. Make sure if you're playing on the PC version, you do check out some of the fixes that are available online. If you just Google mini play game fixes, there's a few that are available to try and basically stop the computer from trying to run the FPSs too fast. In other words, making the games so unplayable you can't play them. And this theme tune will become synonymous with the Golden Saucer. So here we are in the Golden Saucer, and we pop out, and there's a little chocobo running around there, and there's a person. Together, a single pass is 3,000 gil, or your lifetime pass is 30,000. So we're going to pay 3,000 gil. So once we leave, we can't go back in. So basically, when you get in here, everything costs GP to play with, and you can't buy GP. You can only win it at the Chocobo races by betting money to win GP, or the Wonder Square, where you can play games for money to get GP. Obviously, once we leave, we can't come back in. But, as is always, we won't be leaving the normal route. So, Aerith's trying to cheer Barret up. Square where he can go and try and win some GP in theory. So, just as I have to give you a little spoiler now. You can only select one person to come with you, so I'm going to select Yuffie. And the reason for that is that we actually find a new party member here, the 7th member of our party. So basically you pick any one of these and you can go and visit them. So if we hop in here, it takes us to the event square, where nothing's happening at the moment. Speed Square where you can play games. I'm not going to take you through all the different ones here. This chap here is Dio, who runs the show, but he calls himself Boy. Do you know what a black materia is? This is interesting. Tattoo on his hand that says number 1 and a black cape. So, quite interesting this is, you know, he's met with Sephiroth. So he's telling you if you go to the battle arena you can find some of his collections. Now there's various other places we can go to. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to advance with the story now. So before we go anywhere, there's a little extra thing you can do by going towards the Ghost Hotel. We're not going to check in, don't worry. But you might remember a while ago, we, as you can see, the ghosts are a bit ghost-like, but we've got the Turtle Paradise letter number 3. So, you might remember a while ago that we got letter 1 and 2. Now we've got letter number 3, and if we go here, there's a little shop with a guy hanging from the ceiling. Mr. Hangman. It's a standard shop, there's nothing sort of special you can buy here. Just to let you know that there's a shop here if you are short on items. That's all we actually need to come here for. If you want to stay the night or something, you can go ahead and stay the night. But I don't need to at the moment, and my characters, like I say, they're pretty healthy. So now what we need to do is we need to follow Barret and find out where Barret went, so we're going to go to the Wonder Square. So you click on the Wonder Square there, and it brings you out. And this is where we meet someone rather interesting. Do you want to read your fortune? Is a fortune-telling machine called Kate Sith. And as you can tell, it's a little cat on top of a big stuffed toy. You can only read the future. Find missing things, missing people, anything. Tell where Sephiroth is. And when he does this little sort of motion, he's predicting the future, and his machine will pop out a piece of paper. Ordinary luck will be in an active fortune. Sounds like a stereotypical Chinese fortune cookie or something, you know, just giving you random bits of information. So here we are, let's see if it's actually worked this time, and what he tells us, your lucky colour is blue. Now look, if you look where Cloud stood at the moment, he's actually stood on a blue or a turquoisey type word, battle. Now that alludes to him needing to go to the battle area now. What you pursue will be yours, but you will lose something dear. So both those are interesting predictions. You know, you're going to lose something dear, find what you want, and your lucky colour's blue. So Kate's a fortune teller, and he or she or it wants to come along with you. So that's the reason why you can only bring the extra person with you, because Kate Sith now joins your party. Now I don't want to use Kate Sith in my party, so the first thing I'm going to do is have a look at Kate Sith's items. Now he has an item called a silver armlet, which is the same basically as a Shinra Beta, but it's got slightly better statistics. So I'm going to swap that for a carbon bangle. He's also carrying a manipulate materia and transform materia. I'm going to remove those. Now his transform materia has already got 7,000 AP on it, and his manipulate materia has got nothing. Now manipulate's a really useful materia. It allows you to control what the enemy does, and this will be really useful soon later in the game when we start building up our enemy skill materials to get them, you know, equipped with items. Now we've got rid of Kate Sith's silver armlet, I'm going to go to Cloud and equip the silver armlet. As you can see, it raises all the statistics. And then I'm going to equip the Shinra Beta. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm going to leave the Shinra Beta off and give it to Barret, because Barret's obviously he's not in a party at the moment, but he's using a 4 slots materia, so this will be better for him. So the lucky colour's blue. Now we can continue on with the game, or we can go straight to blue. So let's go straight to blue to advance the story. And he's dead. There's a random Shinra guy who's dead. Don't just leave Yuffie. And as we come in here, you know, we've just gone up there, faded out, and we can see that everyone's dead. You know, what the heck's happened to everyone? I mean, Dio told us to go by the battle arena, and it's our lucky colour, and everyone's been shot with a gun. And there's a man with a gun on his arm. But the only person with a man on a gun on him that we know is Barret. We've been told to stay still by some security guards and Dio. Did you guys do this? No, it wasn't us. Dio must have been wrong. Hurry and run, it's going to get ugly. And they've ran into a dead end against the battle arena monsters. Now he's saying that's as far as you're going to go. A quick snap of his fingers, and there's some sort of mechanical monster who's... well, it's not even really a monster, it's more of a robot that's slowly cornered them all into, well, centred them all. And the last person's going to now jump through the gateway to heaven. Pay for your crime down below, it's saying. So now they jump through the gateway to heaven. I'm not quite sure how far that goes down, but it might kill them. But of course, the game doesn't consider this. Yuffie wants to know if you're okay. Kate Sith tells us that we're in a coral prison. A prison in the middle of the desert, surrounded entirely by quicksand, and once you're in, you never leave. And of course there has to be a special exception, there always is. So there's Barret down there, let's go and find out what the heck's going on. Did you really shoot those people? He wants to be left alone, something he's got to deal with. But obviously Cloud won't be happy with him saying that. So we're going to follow him. He wants to be left alone, but are we going to leave him alone? No. Now, as we're getting into battles here, but I haven't fully equipped everyone, I'm just going to run away from these first couple of battles. Also, in the meantime, since I've got here, I've bought a new weapon for Cloud, which has, like the one for Yuffie, it has double growth, but 3 individual single slots, so it means I've had to remove more of my all materials. But it gives me, you know, a chance to level up my materials much quicker, and it's slightly stronger than the hard edge. And I've not given Cloud a new weapon for ages. Oh, hang on, there's a little creek. And here's Barret. And he wants to talk. And he thinks he's about to get shot, but he was missing them. Or was he? A random person around the back who's eavesdropping just gets shot. He doesn't want anyone to get involved with this mess that he's caused. Tifa saying, you can't say that line. You know, we're already involved. We're up to, you know, our neck in it. We've all got thrown into this prison. And then there's Red 13 ever to the point. There's another man who's got a gun arm. So obviously now we're going to find out more about why the gun arm happened. So we already got told that the village was being attacked by Shinra shoulders and being burned to the ground. But Barret actually got told about this. So whilst the village was being burnt to the ground and everyone was dying there, Barret was looking on, away inspecting a Mako reactor. And he looks a bit angry, obviously there with both arms. And he's sat there next to Dine, the friend that was in the earlier FFV. So Barret and Dine, we obviously know from the FFVs that both residents of Corel, they're both quite important people that relate to the village mayor and stuff. So, you know, they sort of look after the village and make sure everyone's looked after like, you know, stereotypical old villagers do. And then the village headsman's saying to protect the village. And they're being shot at and Barret is dancing trying to avoid all the bullets. And now they're hidden under a little bush, a little sort of rock, but it's not accurately drawn to scale. And Scarlet's just not one of them said, you can't hit them when you shoot like that. And Diane's just got knocked out. So Eleanor and Marlene now. Marlene and Eleanor, obviously we know who Marlene is. Now, what you don't yet learn is that Eleanor is Diane's wife. Obviously you know Mina is the wife of Barret. And then Diane's obviously fell to his doom. So he got himself a new right arm instead of an artificial arm. Instead of getting an artificial arm, he got a gun. And then he realised there was someone else who got his left arm done the same. So Barret knows it was Dine who caused those murders, but Barret thought that Dine was dead. So essentially what Barret's saying here is he realised why Dine's caused those murders, because he saw Barret there, you know, floating around the Wonder Square and Battle Arena. And he wanted him to feel pain like Dine did, because Dine was the person who was against the Mako reactors being built with the North Corel's coal, and then destroying the coal reactors and replacing it with Mako reactors. And Dine got convinced by Barret. So this is the first time in the game where, obviously we know we can't often, but if you try and move Barret, it won't let you. So the only person we can move is Yuffie, and I want to keep Yuffie in my party. So we have to use Barret. So we can move the order around, you know, like that. But we can't not play with unless we've got Barret in our team. So basically, this is our team now. And now what we're going to do is go and explore the desert and try and find out a way of...
Okay guys, and that was all for this, the second part of 3 from the Corel playthrough of Avalanche's Final Fantasy VII playthrough. We've unfortunately now been consigned to the Corel prison, you know, the Golden Saucer prison, by Dio, the owner of Gold Saucer, for suspected murder. In the next episode, it's pretty straightforward. We're just going to try and get out of the prison, and once we do, we'll have a little prize from Dio for saying sorry.